Today is November 30th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we're going to continue and I believe wrap up Chapter 9, The Family Afterward. We'll be reading page 135. At the 12 and 12, I know for sure we'll wrap this up. We'll be wrapping up tradition number 6 by reading page 158 and 159. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. Hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Once again, we've been given a brand new set of 24 hours. Another opportunity to grow. Clean slate. It's always an exciting thing. So let's get to the good stuff. If you recall from yesterday's reading, we're at a point where we're talking about time. In time, they will see that he is a new man, and their own way, they will let him know it. And now we're going to wrap up the 9th chapter of the Big Book. Page 135. Whether the family goes on a spiritual basis or not, the alcoholic member has to if he would recover. The others must be convinced of his new status beyond the shadow of a doubt. Seeing is believing to most families who have lived with a drinker. Here is a case in point. One of our friends is a heavy smoker and coffee drinker. There was no doubt he overindulged. Seeing this and meaning to be helpful, his wife commenced to admonish him about it. He admitted that he was overdoing these things, but frankly said that he wasn't ready to stop. His wife is one of those persons who really feels that there is something rather sinful about these commodities. So she nagged, and her intolerance finally threw him into a fit of anger, and he got drunk. Of course, our friend was wrong, dead wrong. He had to painfully admit that, and mend his spiritual fences. Though he is now a most effective member of Alcoholics Anonymous, he still smokes and drinks coffee, but neither his wife nor anyone else stands in judgment. She sees that she was wrong to make a burning issue out of such a matter, when his more serious ailments were rapidly being cured. We have 3 little mottos which are apropos. Here they are. First things first. Live and let live. Easy does it. At the 12 and 12 we're on tradition 6. An AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. And if you recall from yesterday's reading, we're at a point where one of our members has been asked to be the spokesperson in this alcohol company kind of education team up. And he's asking the New York headquarters if that's okay. So let's find out what happens and wrap up this chapter. Page 158 and 159. At first glance, it did look like a good thing. Then doubt crept in. The association wanted to use our member's full name in all of its advertising. He was to be described both as its director of publicity and as a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Of course, there couldn't be the slightest objection if such an association hired an AA member solely because of his public relations ability and his knowledge of alcoholism. But that wasn't the whole story. For in this case, not only was an AA member to break his anonymity at a public level, he was to link the name of Alcoholics Anonymous to his particular educational project in the minds of millions. It would be bound to appear that AA was now backing education, liquor trade association style. The minute we saw this compromising fact for what it was, we asked the prospective publicity director how he felt about it. "Great guns," he said. "Of course I can't take the job. The ink wouldn't be dry on the first ad before an awful shriek would go up from the dry camp. They'd be out with the lanterns looking for an honest AA to plump for their brand of education. AA would land exactly in the middle of the wet-dry controversy. Half the people in this country would think that we'd sign up for the dries, and the other half would think that we'd join the wets. What a mess. Nevertheless, we pointed out, You still have a legal right to take this job." "I know that," he said, "but this is no time for legalities. Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life, and it comes first. I certainly won't be the guy to land AA in big trouble. And this would really do it." Concerning endorsements, our friend had said it all. We saw as never before that we cannot lend the AA name to any cause other than our own. "24 hours a day, November 30th. AA thought for the day. We have slips in AA. It has been said that these are not slips but premeditated drunks, because we have to think about taking a drink before we actually take one. The thought always comes before the act. It is suggested that people should always get in touch with an AA before taking that first drink. The failure to do so makes it probable that they had decided to take the drink anyway. And yet the thoughts that come before taking a drink are often largely subconscious. People usually don't know consciously what made them do it. Therefore, the common practice is to call these things slips. Am I on guard against the wrong thinking? Meditation for the day. The eternal God is thy refuge. He is a sanctuary, a refuge from the cares of life. You can get away from misunderstanding of others by retiring in your own place of meditation. But from yourself, from your sense of failure, your weakness, your shortcomings, whither can you flee? Only to the eternal God, your refuge, until the immensity of His Spirit envelops your spirit, and it loses its smallness and weakness and comes in harmony again with His. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may lose my limitations in the immensity of God's love. I pray that my spirit may be in harmony with His Spirit. Daily Reflection, November 30th. Protection for all. At the personal level, anonymity provides protection for all members from identification as alcoholics, a safeguard often of special importance to newcomers. At the level of press, radio, TV, and films, anonymity stresses the equality in the fellowship of all members by putting the brake on those who might otherwise exploit their AA affiliation to achieve recognition, power, or personal gain. Understanding Anonymity, page 5. Attraction is the main force in the fellowship of AA. The miracle of continuous sobriety of all alcoholics within AA confirms this fact every day. It would be harmful if the fellowship promoted itself by publicizing, through the media of radio and TV, the sobriety of well-known public personalities who became members of AA. If these personalities happen to have slips, outsiders would think that our movement is not strong, and they might question the veracity of the miracle of the century. Alcoholics Anonymous is not anonymous, but its members should be. Alright, my friends, that concludes today's reading and some beautiful stuff. I really love those 3 little mottos at the bottom of page 135 of the big book. First things first. Doing the next right thing. First things first, that could be about priorities as well. Okay, well, what's my first priority today? Well, I'm not going to get anything done right if I don't turn my will and my life over to my higher power and not drink. I'm pretty sure, a lot of times I don't know what God's will is for my life. So I read another book, they call it the big book, and try to figure it out. Or I might get a gentle nudge. But one thing I know for sure, at least for me, this alcoholic, I shouldn't drink today. So that's keeping first things first for me. And then live and let live. And that reminds me of the Serenity Prayer. There are some things that are not in my control, but there are other things that are. Let me just worry about, I shouldn't even use the word worry. Let me just meditate on what I can control and let everything else go. The only thing really I can control, honestly, is my attitude. And finally, easy does it. I've wanted to slam on that accelerator many, many times. And sometimes with the best intentions, I realize that's not always the best thing to do. Sometimes I look at my life and I still wrestle with things that I wrestled with ever since I was a kid, even though I've prayed about them countlessly. And then I think, well, am I even growing? But all I have to do is look back through my life and I see how my higher powers worked. And then I just have to nod my head and go, yeah, I've grown a lot. Not through my own merits, but through the sharpening and the grace of God. So with that, my friends, that's all we have time for today. Hope you all have a great one. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.